Hello, welcome to the Daily News Ukraine channel. Today is February 18th and our daily review of news about Ukraine. A Russian missile hit a military facility in Khmelnytskyi in the morning of February 18th. Serhiy Khmelnytskyi, head of the Khmelnytskyi Regional Military Administration, said this during the nationwide telethon Yediny Noviny. At 9 o'clock, terrorists launched two strikes, one hit a military facility, the second hit civilian facilities nearby, Khmelnytskyi said. According to him, there is destruction in the city as a result of the missile strike. A large-scale fire broke out on an area of 100 square meters. However, it has now been extinguished. Read also, Russia's missile attack, 3 schools, residential buildings damaged, 3 civilians injured in Khmelnytskyi. The official did not specify which of the objects caught fire as a result of the shelling. Cafes and shops, as well as residential buildings, were damaged in the city. As of 12:20, it became known that 2 residents of the city were injured, a man received a shrapnel wound in the leg, and a woman was hit by the door. They were provided with the necessary medical assistance. The condition of both wounded is stable. There are problems with electricity supply in the neighborhood hit by the missiles. In addition, due to the shelling, the movement of trolleybuses on 2 routes was changed. As reported, Ukrainian air defense forces shot down 2 of 4 Kalibr missiles launched by Russia on the morning of February 18. In Munich, Prosecutor General of Ukraine Andriy Kostin and EU Commission Vice President for Democracy and Demography, Dubravka Suika, discussed the issue of protecting the rights and interests of Ukrainian children forcibly deported by Russia. The press service of the Prosecutor General's office wrote this on Telegram, Ukrinform reports. It is noted that Suika personally experienced the tragedy of the war and understands what Ukrainians are going through today. The Ukrainian Prosecutor General thanked her for involvement and support. "We are doing everything possible to protect the rights of Ukrainian children forcibly deported to the Russian Federation and bring them home," he assured. Read also, number of Ukrainian children illegally taken to Russia could be 150,000 as reported by Ukrinform. According to the non-governmental organization Conflict Observatory, the Russian authorities have relocated at least 6,000 children from Ukraine, whom they are attempting to re-educate, mainly in children's camps. Photo, Andriy Kostin, Telegram. In Khmelnytskyi, civilians were injured and 3 schools, residential buildings, and equipment were damaged as a result of Russian missile attack. Khmelnytskyi Mayor Oleksandr Symchysyn said this during the nationwide telethon Yediny Noviny, Ukrinform report. 3 educational institutions, nearly 10 apartment blocks were damaged, nearly 50 windows and balconies were destroyed, he said. Read also, explosions heard in Khmelnytskyi. According to him, equipment and a private vehicle were also damaged. In addition, 3 people were injured as a result of the missile attack. As reported, 2 explosions were heard in Khmelnytskyi during the morning missile attack. In total, the enemy fired 4 missiles at Ukraine, 2 of which were shot down by air defense forces. During this morning missile attack, 2 enemy cruise missiles flew dangerously close to the South Ukraine nuclear power plant, NPP. The press service of Energoatom said this in a Telegram post, Ukrinform reports. Russia has once again committed an act of nuclear terrorism. Today, February 18, 2023, during another Russian massive missile attack, at 8:25 and 8:27, 2 enemy cruise missiles were recorded over the South Ukraine NPP, the report says. The objects were moving along the southern But River in the direction of the city of Pervomaisk, Mykolaiv region, and flew dangerously close to the nuclear facility. The threat of hitting a reactor with possible aftermath, a nuclear disaster, was high again. This is another act of nuclear terrorism of the Russian Federation, which threatens the security of the whole world. Energoatom stressed. The company once again urged the IAEA to take all possible measures so that Russian nuclear terrorism be stopped, Russian military formations be withdrawn from the territory of the Zaporizhia NPP, a demilitarized zone around it be established, as well as a no-fly zone over all nuclear facilities in Ukraine. As reported by Ukrinform, in the morning of February 18, Russian invaders fired 4 Kalibr missiles from the Black Sea at Ukraine. 2 missiles were intercepted. Ukraine has been removed from the list of countries where the artificial intelligence chatbot Chat GPT is blocked. Ukrainian Deputy Prime Minister, Minister of Digital Transformation Mikhailo Fedorov announced this on Telegram, Ukrinform reports. Chat GPT is now available in Ukraine. The team of the Ministry of Digital Transformation worked for a long time on this decision, official letters, calls, and a meeting with the management. Finally, we managed to correct the injustice. Ukraine was removed from the list of countries where Chat GPT is blocked, he wrote. Read also, Fedorov, 1,765 UAVs purchased for drone army. The program will not work only in the territories temporarily occupied by Russia. Chat GPT is an artificial intelligence chatbot developed by AI startup OpenAI and capable of working in dialogue mode, which supports requests in different languages. British Ambassador Melinda Simmons has honored the memory of the heroes of the Heavenly Hundred and assured Ukraine of support. Paid my respects to Heavenly Hundred peaceful protesters killed by the kleptocratic pro-Russian regime 9 years ago. But nothing can kill their vision of a free, independent, and prosperous European Ukraine. The UK will stand with Ukraine for as long as it takes to implement it fully, Melinda Simmons wrote on Twitter. Read also, Ukrainian recruits in UK undergoing training on survival skills from February 18, 2014, to 2014, there were deadly clashes on Maidan Nezalezhnosti in Kiev during the Revolution of Dignity. In the morning of February 18, 2023, the Russian military fired 4 Kalibr-type cruise missiles from the Black Sea. 2 of them were destroyed by the Ukrainian anti-aircraft defense units. The relevant statement was made by the Air Force of the Armed Forces of Ukraine on Telegram, and Ukrinform correspondent reports. On February 18, 2023, Russian occupation troops fired 4 Kalibr-type cruise missiles at the territory of Ukraine from the Black Sea. 2 missiles were destroyed by the anti-aircraft defense units and forces, the report states. According to the Air Force of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, the threat of Russian missile strikes is persisting. A reminder that, in the morning of February 18, 2023, air raid sirens had been ringing out across Ukraine for over an hour. Ukrainian Foreign Affairs Minister Dmytro Kuleba has invited the Republic of Iraq to join efforts on implementing Ukraine's peace formula. The relevant statement was made by Ukrainian Foreign Affairs Minister Dmytro Kuleba on Twitter, following his meeting with Iraqi Foreign Affairs Minister Fuad Hussein, and Ukrinform correspondent reports. I met with my Iraqi counterpart Fuad Hussein to further develop our bilateral relations and international cooperation. I also invited Iraq to join efforts on implementing Ukraine's peace formula, Kuleba wrote. A reminder that earlier Ukrainian Foreign Affairs Minister Dmytro Kuleba met with Pakistan's Foreign Affairs Minister Bilawal Bhutto Zardari and invited the Islamic Republic of Pakistan to join Ukraine in putting the peace formula into action. Photo, Dmytro Kuleba, Twitter. On February 17, 2023, Russian troops attacked the Kherson region 65 times. 1 civilian was reported killed and 3 injured. The relevant statement was made by Kherson Regional Military Administration on Telegram, and Ukrinform correspondent reports. Russian invaders shelled the Kherson region 65 times. They used multiple launch rocket systems, MLRS, mortars, artillery, tanks, and unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs, the report states. In particular, the city of Kherson came under enemy fire 13 times. Russian projectiles hit detached houses and apartment blocks, and a higher educational institution. 1 civilian was reported killed. 3 more people received injuries of various severity levels. Russian troops have shelled at least 15 settlements in the Kharkiv region over the past day. A man was reported killed. The relevant statement was made by Kharkiv Regional Military Administration head Ola Sinihubov on Telegram, and Ukrinform correspondent reports. Over the past day, the enemy has used cannon and rocket artillery, tanks and mortars to attack at least 15 settlements in such districts as Kharkiv, Kupiansk and Lviv. The airstrike was launched on the city of Vovchansk, Sinihubov wrote. In his words, the detached house suburbs came under enemy fire in Kupiansk. Residential houses were damaged and caught fire. In the Kupiansk district's Dvorykna, a detached house was hit and caught fire. A 68-year-old civilian man was reported killed. In the Lviv district's Vovchansk, Russian invaders shelled a primary healthcare center. Hospital premises, garages, and vehicles were damaged. In the Kharkiv district's Pershatrovniv, a detached house was hit, and a civilian man was injured. Today we were talking about those news. Russian missile hits military facility in Khmelnytskyi. Kostin, EU Commission Vice President, discuss protection of Ukrainian children's rights. Russia's missile attack, 3 schools, residential buildings damaged, 3 civilians injured in Khmelnytskyi. 2 Russian cruise missiles flew dangerously close to South Ukraine NPP. Ukraine removed from list of countries where Chat GPT is not available. British ambassador honors memory of Heavenly 100 heroes. Ukraine's anti-aircraft defense units destroy 2 out of 4 Kalibr missiles fired by Russia. FM Kuleba invites Iraq to join efforts on Ukraine's peace formula. Russians attacked Kherson region 65 times over past day. 15 settlements come under enemy fire in Kharkiv region, man killed.